Welcome to the Advantage Insights podcast. My name is Carol Wellaway, and I'm the founder and CEO of Advantage HCS, a healthcare consulting company. Our team is made up of passionate healthcare industry professionals, and together we are on a mission to transform healthcare. Through our Advantage Insights podcast, our team, as well as occasional special guests, discuss current challenges facing the healthcare industry. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Advantage Insights podcast. I am Dr. Carol Wellaway, the founder and CEO of Advantage HCS. Today, you're in for a treat. I am here with special guest, Dr. Allison Jordan. She and I are embarking on a very interesting path as we're looking to bring health and wellness to the community. Dr. Jordan is amazing, and I'm so glad to have her here today. Welcome, Dr. Jordan.
Hello, Dr. Wellaway. So good to see you. This is such an exciting day. I'm so excited to be here.
Same here, same here. So I'll start by talking a little bit about Advantage, but I really want to get into the work that you are doing, how we're partnering, and how exciting this new opportunity for all of our viewers will be. So
Absolutely.
again, I am Dr. Carol Wellaway, internal medicine by background, founder and CEO of Advantage HCS. And the goal for Advantage is really to bring healthcare and wellness to everyone. Myself and Dr. Jordan happen to be physicians, as well as many members of our team. But we also have folks like nurses, social workers. We have some friends in data analytics, in finance, and in insurance. And our goal is to really improve healthcare through all of these different lenses. We believe coming together to work on projects and doing work together will improve and advance healthcare for all. And in that same vein, we're not just thinking about healthcare workers, although we love our colleagues. We also want to make sure that we're putting out products and services for our patients in the general community. And I'm really excited about this new opportunity that we have, this new service that we're offering along with Dr. Jordan, because it does just that. And we're looking here specifically at nutrition and how nutrition can affect your overall health and wellness. So, Dr. Jordan, did I get that right?
Yep, you got it. That is what we are here to do, is to help people improve their lives through nutrition. You got it.
Awesome. So, why don't you tell our viewers a little about yourself?
Sure, sure. So, as you said, I am a physician and I am passionate about health and wellness. I have been a physician for over 10 years and I've done a lot of different things, had a lot of different experiences and training. And I've just realized that with all of this knowledge and training, there are still areas where my patients need a lot of help. And one area that's really struck a nerve with me is their nutrition and what they're eating, how they're eating, and making sure people are informed, well informed about what decisions they're making when they head to the grocery store and when they are putting food on the table for themselves and their family. And so that's kind of where this got started. So all of my training in internal medicine, psychiatry, palliative care, and then transitioning into culinary medicine, lifestyle medicine, and health and wellness coaching. And so, kind of doing all of these things and kind of pulling it all together to help patients is what I'm all about.
Awesome, awesome. Dr. Jordan is very modest, but we do call her the super doctor because of all of these different titles and certifications and education that she has. So we are ecstatic about bringing her knowledge into our platform and allowing her the opportunity to share all of the wonderful knowledge that she has to really change people's lives because we talk about food and it's fun and it's yummy. But food can be like medicine. Is that right? Talk to us about that, Dr. Jordan.
Absolutely. I, through the research and what I've learned in my culinary medicine training and just what I've experienced myself as a cancer patient, there is power in the food that we eat. And, there's no such thing as a bad food, but we can certainly make better choices when we're eating at home or when we're dining out, because there are some foods that can really help promote our health and can be really good fuel for our bodies and our gut microbiome. And then there are some foods that are delicious and are great, but may not be the best nutrient wise for our bodies. And so, by helping people make these changes and understanding how food can be medicine, it can really make a difference in how they feel inside and out.
Love it. Love it. I think everyone can see why we've selected Dr. Jordan to really run this arm of this program and this business for us because you have so much knowledge about this. As you said, you have been there, right? We're all running this race and you have experience as a cancer survivor to really make changes in other people's lives that you were able to make in your own. And we're so happy for that. So thank you again for being here with us. So I'd like to transition a little bit more. I know you've got lots of education, but let's talk more about this culinary medicine. I think for a lot of people, this is new. It's not something that I was very familiar with until we started having these discussions. So can you talk a little bit about what it is?
Yes, I'd be happy to talk about it. And hopefully, I don't bore people to tears as they're listening to this. But culinary medicine is this beautiful coming together of medical knowledge with nutrition knowledge and culinary skills, and kind of pulling it all together in a way that people can learn how, if they have certain health conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, and if you have these conditions or others, how what you eat, using that dietetic knowledge that our dietitians have known forever, about how these foods, the phytonutrients, the molecules, the proteins, the carbs, and the fats, how your body can use these and then to help you feel better or to manage any symptoms that you might be experiencing from an illness. Or if you are wanting to do more of a preventive stance, you don't want to wait until you're not feeling so great to make changes in your diet and you want to eat more foods that are anti-inflammatory, full of antioxidants, again, full of nutrient dense vitamins and minerals that we can't make on our own, then culinary kind of brings that together to give people knowledge. But more than that, it's about giving people practical and applicable skills that they can do right after class. They can go to the grocery store and take that knowledge, or they can go to their pantry and maybe make some swaps and some changes to improve your health. So this is something that can be done very easily, doesn't take a lot of work, and you don't have to go to the doctor's office and get a prescription. You can get started and use these skills right away.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It makes sense. And I love the fact that it's not just for people who are well, and already running marathons and,
Right.
in the minds of others already have this great health. It's for people who are working towards being healthier. It's for people who have just been diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure and want to know, are there things that I can do? Because I think a lot of times we as physicians, our job is to investigate, find out what's going on, give it a diagnosis, and start working on treatment. And I think as the patient, sometimes you may feel that you don't have a lot of power in what's going on with you. Your body has started doing this thing. Now you need all this treatment, and you feel like you're kind of at the mercy of this disease. And I think the knowledge that food can give people in these situations power to
Mhm.
start making improvements that truly can improve their symptoms. Some of these, it sounds like, can even remove some of these diseases, make it more manageable, make us feel better.
Mhm.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that firsthand about how food impacted me on my own health journey. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was just kind of eating whatever I wanted. I kind of knew nutrition. I like to cook, I like to bake, but I wasn't really reading nutrition labels and I wasn't really as concerned about what was in my food. And when I was diagnosed and I saw that I had really high inflammatory markers, cancer is a big, it's inflammation and it's cells that have gone haywire. And my body was just full of inflammation. And I had to kind of learn, what do I need to do to try to help decrease my inflammation? What foods can I eat when I'm feeling really nauseated from the chemo? What do I need to do to try to protect the lining of my gut when I'm doing the chemo? Because the chemo doesn't care. It's killing all cells, good and bad. And so how do I rebuild my gut when I'm having neuropathy in my fingers from the chemo treatment? What can I eat to try to help with that? If food doesn't taste right, what can I do there? And so learning all of these things. But I realized once I was done with my treatment, because I still did traditional treatments for my cancer, that as I needed to recover, that again, I wanted to continue eating this way because I realized that I just felt better overall. And that's what motivated me to keep learning, keep doing this style of eating, because I could see the long-term benefits, that it wasn't just when I was in the throes of treatment, but this is really a way that I want to keep eating the rest of my life.
Amazing. It's amazing. I mean, you're literally living proof that making these changes can change your life.
Mhm.
So, how long have you known about culinary medicine? How long have you been interested? When did all this start?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to give credit to my friend from freshman year of college, and we've been friends ever since. She is the one that introduced me to it. She is a pediatrician. She's also a PharmD, and she also subspecializes in adolescent medicine. And so, because pediatricians are very concerned about what children are eating and how they're growing, she was the one who brought culinary medicine to me because she was wanting to know more about how to help her patients. And so she approached me about doing it together. And so, right when we were getting ready to do it, I was diagnosed. And so we put things on hold. But then during the pandemic, so back in 2021, she came back and said, "Hey, you're done with your cancer treatment. Do you still want to do this?" And I said, "Absolutely." I was just finishing up my radiation. And so we started working on these classes. We could do them virtually. And it was designed to be a 2-year course to get your coursework done. And I was done in 6 months. So before I knew it, I just loved it, what I was learning and the knowledge. And I said, this is what I need. Like, I've been trying to figure this out on my own. It's all here in culinary medicine. And so I just dived right in, was done in 6 months. And so took the exam and sat for the exam, and then um, went from there. So it's been about it'll be about 4 years this year since I got certified, and it's been an amazing journey, and so honored to be doing this work.
So, 2-year coursework in 6 months. Yes, that tracks with Super Dr. Jordan. So you said something about not knowing what to do or where to go when it came to food. Probably pre-cancer diagnosis and especially after. I think so many of us are in that situation. So how does this help? What does culinary medicine actually tell you?
Yeah. So it really talks about, you know, focusing on the Mediterranean diet, a culinary medicine and the curriculum. That is kind of the foundation is for culinary medicine is Mediterranean diet, those eating principles. Not that someone has to eat Mediterranean food, but those principles of a Mediterranean pattern of eating whole foods, fresh vegetables, lean meats, a little bit of dairy, usually in a fermented fashion, maybe a little bit of red wine or alcohol in small amounts if someone's already drinking, and really legumes and dark leafy green vegetables and food that is food and eating it in seafood. And so just really eating this bright, colorful foods, incorporating them in different ways so that you meet all of the points on the Mediterranean diet. And so that is what culinary medicine, a lot of what the focus is on. The Mediterranean diet has been well studied, well researched, and so continually shows evidence of being one of the top diets for people to follow.
Very good. One of the things you said that I really want to emphasize is Mediterranean diet doesn't necessarily mean you're eating as if you lived in the Mediterranean. Um, I don't think I really got that until I saw some of the delicious dishes that our folks will be making, including
Yeah.
class one, which is tacos, which I
Yeah.
would not think of when I think of Mediterranean diet. So it truly is,
Mm-hmm.
it encompasses all types of food, but a healthy way of creating them, right?
Exactly. This is not about just eating olives and feta and seafood. I mean, you certainly can if you want, but these classes in culinary medicine, the heart of it is really meeting people where they are, starting off, our very first class with tacos and different kinds of tacos. So if you are a beef and bean, or maybe you're a vegan and you just want beans only, or maybe you're a pescatarian, so you want to do fish tacos. Everyone is welcome in culinary medicine, and any diet or dietary preferences can be modified to help meet those Mediterranean eating patterns. So, this is really something that anyone can do. And as you look at the classes and the recipes that we have for each class, that really shines through. We've got pasta dishes, we have grilled vegetables, we have oatmeal pancakes, we've got yogurt, we've got all kinds of things that people can eat and just enjoy eating real whole food.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited. I'm not so much the cook in my family, so I think my husband might be more excited than me. My kids are thrilled. I'm really looking forward to taking these classes. I want you to talk about the Healthy Kitchen. We'll go ahead and throw that name out there. But
Yeah.
before we do, I want to get back to the clinical aspect. You
Mhm.
mentioned that your friend from med school, another super doctor, that she was trying to help her patients. So, is this something you've done in your clinical practice? And if so, how's that working?
Absolutely. So, as I said, my training is in internal medicine and psychiatry. And so I do a lot of looking at the whole patient, not just one aspect of them. And after I did culinary medicine training, I kind of shifted from palliative care more into psychiatry and doing mental health, and kind of went down the rabbit hole and learned about nutritional psychiatry. And again, how the foods that we eat can affect a person's mood, can absolutely influence your gut microbiome and that mind gut connection. And so, what I do with a lot of my patients, if they're interested, I talk to them about what they're eating and how maybe some of the foods that they're eating are affecting their mood. So, while I still may prescribe traditional medications for mental health, I talk to them about, what are you eating? Are you taking in a lot of caffeine? Are you staying hydrated? Are you eating a lot of processed foods, refined sugars, and artificial coloring? Because we have more and more evidence that some of those foods can affect a person's mood, disrupt their gut microbiome, and cause some of the symptoms that we often see: depression, anxiety, and can even affect PTSD. So, when I talk with patients about their options, I want them to be informed, and I want them to know, yes, we can still do traditional medication if it's warranted, but there are also other things that you can do today, right after this appointment. Maybe instead of drinking that highly caffeinated coffee or beverage, maybe that's increasing your anxiety. So maybe you need to only have caffeine in the morning. If you're not able to sleep at night, maybe there's some things like tart cherry juice, or maybe some chamomile tea, or maybe there's some other foods that have some tryptophan that can help you kind of ease into your night instead of feeling really, really anxious and not able to shut off your brain. So, and then for some of my folks that have PTSD and they've seen all kinds of experiences in their life, military or traumas or just day-to-day life. Sometimes this is very traumatic. And I talk to them about maybe you need to eat more foods that can help your brain, such as blueberries and other foods that can also help people that have been through those experiences. And I don't just tell them some of the ingredients, I also sometimes give them recipes and I brainstorm with them. What do you like to eat? What would you be willing to try if you wanted to get out of your comfort zone? And so in that appointment, it might be a prescription for medication and some recipes that they can try. And then they come back to their next appointment and give me feedback. What worked, what didn't, how are they feeling? And generally, gradually working with them to make small changes. It doesn't have to be an overnight overhaul of the refrigerator, starting with where they're at.
That's awesome. I love the work that you do. Again, you're an amazing doctor. And I think some people who are not clinical, not physicians, not in this space may be saying, well, my doctor never told me about that. I've been dealing with this issue for decades and I'm on these medications, but if I could take some type of fruit, vegetable, nutrient that could help me, I would love to know that. And so I think one, your doctor is not neglecting you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's most likely is your doctor doesn't know these things. And so that's why we're really excited from the Advantage standpoint to be partnering with you, Dr. Jordan, because of your vast amount of knowledge. And when I say this is for everyone, this is for everyone. This is for physicians included, for psychologists, psychiatrists, all areas of healthcare and medicine, because there's so much that we can learn that we don't always learn in traditional training, that can also help improve the health and wellness of our patients with foods. And so I'm excited about the things that I will learn as well to help my future patients as well as my family and my friends. So this is great.
Yeah.
I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and talk about Healthy Kitchen by Advantage HCS. So from you, our instructor extraordinaire, talk to us. What can we expect? What is this?
Yes. So I'm so excited about this and what we are doing. And thank you again for this amazing opportunity. I mean, the work that's been going on behind the scenes, y'all, it's just so amazing to see this all come together. And there's nobody else I'd rather be doing this adventure with than Advantage HCS. So Dr. Wellaway, thank you. Thank you to your team for everything that you guys have done to take what was in my head and actually now we're putting it out there for the world to see. So just wanted to say that. But what people can expect in these classes, first of all, you can expect to have a good time. This is not meant to be high stress. This is meant to be fun. You are not on one of these cooking culinary competition shows that you see on TV. That's not what this is. This is just come with whatever knowledge you have or come with an open mind, come ready to learn, come ready to interact with other people from all over the world who are just like you that are wanting to learn more about their health, wanting to improve their cooking skills in the kitchen, and really want to know how to take that control over what they're eating. So that's the first part. In these classes, it's going to be pretty simple, a structured format. Everybody will come in, everybody will introduce themselves, where they're joining us from around the world. We'll have a discussion, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so on that particular topic for that day. And then once the video or the discussion is done, then we will see if there's any follow-up questions. And from there, we'll go into knife skills. And so this is where I will show folks hands-on any particular knife skills that we need for the recipes for that day. So you can cut along with me, you can watch and then do it after, but I want to make sure that people are safe in their kitchens and know how to do really good knife skills that will not only increase safety, but efficiency when you're in the kitchen so you can get your prep and everything done and be on your way to really start cooking. Then everybody will start cooking whatever recipe they picked. We'll all still be together. So if people have questions, they want to talk to each other, everybody's going to be cooking. And then once your meal is done, people will send me a picture of their delicious food and they'll send it to me so that we can do a plate discussion where we will look at what people made. People give a chance to give feedback. How did it taste? What substitutions did they have to make for their diet? And so we're going to talk about each plate. And I'll also call out some important nutrition facts, any important things about the dish related to the Mediterranean diet that I think people should know. And we'll just do that for the kind of end of class. And then once we're done with all the pictures, we'll do a wrap up in case there's any other questions, concerns, anything else that people want to know or, just have questions about. So that is the class in a nutshell. So it'll be about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Some classes, people are very social and we love it. And, having people talk and share ideas. And some classes may be a little bit, a little bit faster. Some recipes don't take as long. And so some classes may end a little early. But to be safe, if you gave yourself about a 3-hour commitment, I definitely try to respect folks' time and get us in, get you cooking, get some good food in your belly, and then get you on your way. So it's great and people really like it.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thanks for that rundown. That was great. Now, we talked a little bit about how the Mediterranean diet, the way that you will be teaching it, includes a lot of foods that we might not consider Mediterranean. So, can you talk a little bit about what we'll expect from some of the classes? What types of classes will there be? There may be people thinking, well, I don't really like this type of food, or I'm vegetarian, so I'm not going to be able to be eating all of this fish and meat. And so, well, what do you have anything for that?
Yes, yes. So for our beginner course, it's going to be 6 different courses. So the first class is going to be an introduction to the Mediterranean diet. So again, we're going to be focused on just what is the Mediterranean diet? What are the 9 different components? And so for that class, for example, we're going to be doing tacos. So we are going to have different types of tacos 4 ways. So if you have a dairy concern or you're vegan or you do eat beef or you want to swap that out for turkey or chicken, you can modify these recipes based on what you want to eat. The next class, lesson 2, is on breakfast. So how can you make healthy breakfast that meets the requirements of the Mediterranean diet? So that could be egg and spinach frittatas, that could be oat pancakes, it could be breakfast tacos, it could be a quick yogurt with some homemade granola that you make during class. So lots of different options and things that you can modify, mix and match based on what you want. And we've even got some smoothie recipes in there too. If you're a person that just needs something to quick on the go and you don't need to be standing over a stove in the morning, then we've got you covered too. So, and a lot of these meals can be meal prepped. So lots of different options for folks. Lesson 3 is about lunch. So we're going to be talking about ways to have a healthy lunch, something that you can bring from home, things that you can make ahead of time and then eat the next day for your lunch. So even how to make your own hummus. We're going to have options for salads. We're going to have options for lots of things that you can take quick and easy instead of going to the vending machine during the lunch day, which probably doesn't have the best things for you in it. So that's lunch. And then dinner, we're going to focus on some of our comfort foods, some good foods that we know and love. Cheeseburger pasta. We're going to have different meals for people, shakshuka. We're going to have all kinds of things. So, not all Mediterranean, things from different cultures that are available and having those for folks to try. Then our lesson 5 is on snacks. So this is one of our favorite classes that I offer. And this one's going to have black bean brownie bites, coconut date balls, chicken tenders that you make yourself, your homemade ranch dressing. We're going to have, roasted chickpeas. We're going to have broccoli buffalo bites. So if you're doing some snacking in front of the TV for movie night or, for a big game on TV, giving you some great options of things that you can have at home or to bring to a gathering with you and your friends. And then our last lesson, lesson 6, is where we're going to be talking about fats and cholesterols. And this is also a very popular topic about fats, cholesterols. There's been a lot of media attention about fats and oils and what we should be eating, what we should not be eating. And so this class is going to be looking at a lot of options, giving you different things to make, such as our pan-seared or chicken thighs. It might be our spicy quinoa with chickpeas and a spicy peanut sauce. We're going to have also some corn, some tacos with a corn relish. So again, just a sampling of some of the things that are there, but lots of options for many different types of dietary preferences, dietary needs, and almost all of our recipes can be modified for what a person's requirements might be for their diet.
Awesome, awesome. So you've been doing this a while. What type of feedback have you heard from some of these classes?
Yeah. So the feedback that I've heard a lot about these classes is that people didn't realize that you don't have to spend the entire bank to eat healthy. A lot of people were under the impression that, we used to, I got to spend my whole paycheck, for 6 items.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what to make with these things because I don't even like these foods. And people realized, oh, I can use frozen vegetables. I can use canned food. I can use pantry staples, make a delicious, wholesome meal, and it's not costing me so much money. People have realized that there's things that they can make ahead of time and freeze later to save them time down the road when they are in a time crunch and need to get something on the table. So that has surprised folks. People have been surprised at their knife skills and that they've learned safe ways to use their knife, safe ways to cut their vegetables. And with practice and learning the techniques, they become much more efficient in the kitchen, and they like being in the kitchen now because they know how to cut their food safely. And another part too, along with safety, is people are learning about food safety, how you need to store your food safely so that you reduce waste and so that you don't just throw food in the trash because you didn't store it properly, so it didn't last as long. So those are just a few of the things that I've heard, besides folks saying, this was a lot of fun. The time went really fast. I really enjoyed meeting people from all over the place, and they just want to keep coming back, and they do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, it's real interesting. We talk a lot about the health and, being doctors, that part of it, but don't really consider much the food safety aspect of things and being efficient. So I think it sounds like there's a lot that people can gain from taking these classes.
Absolutely. There's more. It's about food, but it's so much more than food. There's so much more. And, I learned during these classes too. I welcome people to bring their questions. If there's things that they don't know about, they've heard all kinds of things on the internet, on social media, come bring those questions. And we have discussions, lively discussions, which is fantastic to hear different points of views, how other people are interpreting what they're hearing, what they're seeing, what they're reading. And I welcome that because we need to talk. We need to communicate with each other. And also for me as a doctor, I want to make sure people are well informed so that you can hear the facts and then you decide what works for you. But I want to make sure that you're getting it from facts and not some latest fad.
Absolutely. That's so important these days.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like all of these classes and the meals that you touched on are all part of the beginner level
Mm-hmm.
series, where I'll be spending a lot of time. But it doesn't sound like it's beginner because these are small meals or you're making, little snacks. Like this is food, even
Oh
in
yeah.
beginner classes.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
this is real food. This is real food. These are some of the same recipes and things that I made when I was becoming certified in culinary medicine.
Wow.
So there were doctors, dietitians, physician assistants, nursing. We were doing some of these same recipes and they work for us and they're going to work for the general population as well. They are just good, time tested, proven winner recipes that people really like and are excited about eating it. They see it in the colors and the presentations. Oh, I can't wait for the plate discussion. It's just the best part is showing off everybody's hard work and their plating skills. And um, everybody's so supportive and everybody's just, like, great job. Wow, that's really good, substitution. Wow, I would have never thought of putting that combo together. And it's just a positive energy in these classes that really makes it wonderful.
That is awesome and something that everybody could use these days. So that's awesome. So we talked about the beginner. Are there other classes? What if you're not a beginner and you're looking to learn something new? Do you have something for these folks?
Yes, as we grow, as we're just getting started, but I have a lot of big dreams and a lot of goals for these classes. So, if there's enough interest and we have folks that want to take it to the next level, I'm hoping that pretty soon we'll be offering intermediate classes where we're going to do a deeper dive, going to be more focused on some of those culinary skills. Still focus on Mediterranean diet, but really helping people that want to build their skills in poaching, steaming, braising, grilling, just to name a few things that people can, if they really want to work on those skills, still kind of maybe some slightly harder recipes that are going to, take some more effort, but very delicious recipes and continuing to have those discussions and learning about how these culinary skills, but then also certain medical topics, diabetes, cholesterol, still incorporating that health component into those classes. So that's one thing that we're hoping to do. And then also, I really want us to have our specialized courses, our Dine with the Doc, where myself or some other medical experts can come in to our classroom, our virtual classroom, and talk about a topic that's really important to them. And so after they give their talk, have them stay for class and cook with us, ask questions. And so you really get this unique, intimate setting to ask a medical professional anything and everything you wanted to know about that particular topic. So, really excited about that signature course. Can't wait for us to launch it. Already got some doctors and colleagues and specialists lined up in my head that I'm waiting to ask for them to come and join us for class.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's great. There's so much. There's so much happening
So
and
much.
something for everyone, which I think is awesome because you don't always see that. And it can be intimidating thinking about walking into the kitchen, if that's not your comfort spot and that's not something that you've done very often. So I'm excited about the fact that you have something for all skill levels, which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is my comfort zone, but this may not be everybody else. So, but everybody's welcome. We want people at different skill levels. Again, we're not expecting you to have gone to culinary school or to be a certified dietitian, or a nutritionist before taking these classes. We have had folks, cooking along with their children. We've had folks that have been wanting to take a cooking class for 50 years and never got a chance to do it and was able to join in. They modified the recipes, for whatever their health conditions were, and they still had a great time. So everybody's welcome here.
That is wonderful. Wonderful news. So we're talking a lot about healthy foods, which is important. It's very clear that healthy doesn't mean that it doesn't taste good. And I think that's something that people will find right off the bat, from taking your classes, making these recipes, eating this food. I can attest, I have had a lot of your Jordan meals and it's delicious. So what would you say is one of your guilty pleasures?
Mm, gosh. So I am a baker at heart. So and yes, Dr. Wellaway knows I am a baker. She has had a whole lot of my baked goods. One of my more recent guilty pleasures has I learned how to make my own molten chocolate lava cake. And so it's dangerous. I always find things to make, and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have learned how to make this. So my latest one is how to do a molten chocolate lava cake. And so, but still somewhat healthy. So I try to use, 70%, I think it's 72% chocolate. I use almond flour and used some eggs, and so used a little bit, I think, of maple sugar, and so was able to use some of these products to pull this lava cake together, and it turned out amazing. I had some mixed berries that I macerated a little bit, and so put that over the top. And so, yes, it was amazing having these macerated berries full of antioxidants, plus my lava cake with my chocolate, which also is full of antioxidants, and just cutting into it and just the chocolate coming out of the middle of it. It was just it's amazing. We may have to post a picture of it or something
Yeah.
after we're talking about it. But
Sounds
I
delicious. And you
learned
may
how to
have to
make
send me
it.
one.
Yeah, learned how to make this, and I was like, oh no, this is trouble. This I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I think about this molten lava cake at least once a week now, and I have to resist the urge to keep making it because it is that good.
Yummy. So, okay, that's a good point. There may be foods that people like that are even staples for them that they want to know, can I still eat this? Is there a way that I can make it a little bit more healthy, and still enjoy this type of food that I like? So I think that's a question for folks who are watching. Will there be a time when people can make suggestions about what types of foods that they see in these classes?
Absolutely. As I said earlier, all foods are not, there's not, bad foods, good foods. There's just some foods that you might want to eat more of, and then other foods that you may just want to have for a special occasion. And there really are a treat. And, for some of those recipes, if they've been handed down through the family through generations, they are what they are. They may not be able to be modified without really changing the taste and the texture. And it just doesn't bring back those warm, fuzzy feelings. So sometimes some recipes are just best left alone. Enjoy them. Don't feel bad about it. Enjoy that special meal. And then there's other times where there's something that you eat on a regular basis, or maybe not. Maybe it is for a special occasion. And you're wondering, I wonder if I can make some modifications, maybe make this a little bit better. Absolutely. People bring those questions all the time to class, and sometimes I'm able to help them troubleshoot, brainstorm modifications that you'll still give you the taste, but not and reduce maybe some of the calories or the the energy denseness of it and make it a little bit lighter, but still taste good. So sometimes able to do that with folks during class. And if people, yeah, if they're in class and they're like, hey, can you help me find a recipe for chicken or for something else? Happy to help people kind of research and find maybe some other alternatives to what they're used to eating.
Awesome. And I think it's a really good point that you brought up that, you know, foods aren't necessarily all good or all bad. You just can't always eat all of them at the same time or only one type. So I think it's a good point about keeping some of those sacred recipes and meals just that, and maybe limiting how often you're eating that. But you brought up family.
Mhm.
I remember we spoke once and you talked about your grandmother being an inspiration for you on this journey of culinary medicine and using food to improve health and wellness. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, I feel so honored to be doing this work and to be doing this with Advantage HCS. And I feel like some of this work is dedicated to my grandmother, who I never got a chance to meet. Unfortunately, when she was in her early 40s, she died from breast cancer. And so the only things that I know about her are what my dad has shared with me. And she died when he was 16 years old. And back then in the 60s, he was taking her to her cancer treatments. He was doing her wound care from her radiation, because cancer treatment back then is very different than what it is now. And it sounds like it was a very rough experience for my grandmother. And one of the things that he always talks about with my grandmother is how well she cooked. And she was a baker too. And that she would be in their little kitchen in California and she would be baking things all the time. He was her taste tester, and she would be taking things to her job and also getting commissioned to do certain baked goods. And it sounds like she could just do any and everything in the kitchen, and she was amazing. So to now be here decades later in my 40s, a cancer patient a cancer survivor, now doing culinary medicine and having an opportunity to share my love of cooking and education with the world, it really just feels like I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And so I am here because of her. And I really dedicate this work to her and what she wasn't able to do in her life. And that now I get a chance to carry on her legacy through the work that I'm doing with Healthy Kitchen.
Wow, that is wonderful. It's so special. Thank you so much for sharing that. And uh, you're a real person, and I know you, so I know that. But not everyone here yet um, knows a lot about you other than you're a super doctor. And so I think being able to vulnerable enough to share some of these types of things and why it's important to you and how this is kind of your destiny. It sounds like it was always going to happen and making it happen and now in this time in your life is just so special. We are so blessed to be able to share this dream with you and follow you along this journey. This is amazing. Don't get me talking here. Oh goodness. Well, I could talk to you forever, of course, and we do sometimes. But let's tell the folks where they can learn more about Healthy Kitchen. We officially launched while you were
Mhm.
sleeping Easter Sunday night.
Yes.
The website is up and out there, so we definitely want folks to get on over there, especially now because we've got a discount going. So I'll let you talk a little bit about some of that.
Yeah. So we are open, we are live. We cannot wait to cook with you. So if you head on over to our website, healthykitchen.advantagehcs.com, you can go there. We've got classes that are already posted. We're going to be putting more out there as we get rolling, but we're just getting started. And so if you go to our website, you can see the classes that we have. Hopefully, one of them works for your schedule. And we have a discount code, and that is HK Early Bird. You can enter that code and get a discount on the first class. It's our way of saying thank you for coming and being a part of what we are doing with Advantage HCS.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You spoke a little bit. We talked about the tacos. I want to just mention the couple classes that are up now specifically. Class one tacos, May 4th.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be
Yes.
cooking those tacos right on time for Cinco de Mayo the next day.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And
Yes.
then talk about the specialty class. You spoke a bit about dining with the doctor.
Yes.
And you're, of course, overachiever, starting out the gate with a specialty
Yes.
course. So tell
Yes.
us about
So
it. I'm really excited about this one.
yes. So I'm excited about this too. So our first inaugural Dine with the Doc is going to be on May 11th, and we are going to be looking at menopause and nutrition in menopause. It's a huge topic. It's been all over the media. It's finally getting the recognition that it's been due. And so I could spend forever talking about it, but I really want to just focus on the nutrition part of menopause because during that transition time, a lot of changes happen in a woman's body, and there's a lot of foods that could be helping you in that transition, and a lot of foods that you might need to change how and when and how, what you're doing with those foods. So, a lot of information to unpack. Really excited to talk about the facts about menopause, what it is, what it isn't, and give people practical knowledge about what they can be eating during this time. And then when you're in postmenopause, or maybe you're perimenopause, or maybe you're premenopause, along the entire spectrum for this part of a woman's life, there's a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and I cannot wait to share it with our participants. So it's coming soon. So definitely sign up. If this is an interest for you, for a woman in your life, for your girlfriends, bring everybody. And we're going to talk. We're going to talk and we're going to cook and we're going to eat and we're going to have fun.
Yeah, I'll be there. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. And of course, thank you so much for allowing Advantage HCS to be a part of this amazing journey. I cannot wait to see how people react
Yes.
to the services, the classes. We didn't touch on even the subscriptions. We can talk a little bit about that. There's just so much there, and there's something for everyone. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. I know the rest of you watching will love, love, love this. Tell all your friends and family about us. Again, no restrictions worldwide. You like some types of foods. We have something for everyone. So regardless of your dietary preference, you may be vegetarian, you may be vegan, maybe you don't eat nuts, gluten-free, dairy-free. Dr. Jordan is amazing, and she's come up with something for everyone, truly. So head to the website, sign up, check out the classes, tell your friends about us. We will have information about the site posted here, as well as the discount code that Dr. Jordan just mentioned. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you all for watching. This has been another special episode of Advantage Insights, our podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you in class.